Hey guys, my name is Arid, and this is my very first video on this channel. Today I will be talking about the presence of the Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, in the furry fandom. I myself am an Aspie, as us with Asperger's syndrome, or high-functioning autism like to call ourselves. I was diagnosed at age 3, but was unaware of my condition until 2 or 3 years ago. I'm still strongly convinced that there is a link between my condition and the reason I found the fandom in the first place, as well as some of my current involvement. Warning: the following section of the video talks about sexual fantasy and fetishism. If you are uncomfortable with these topics, please skip to the timestamp that will be posted on the screen. Vore. Yep, you heard me. I'm in the furry fandom because of Vore. Before those oh so sexy furry cocks and asses, I fapped to Vore. I can't remember exactly how it started. I must have seen a Vore scene in a movie or a YouTube video or something, and decided to look for more after being turned on by it. I didn't quite know the term yet, so I searched up swallow bite insert animal with large enough mouth to fit a person inside here, until I figured out that everyone uses the word Vore. It was pretty much inevitable that making a Furfinity account in 2015 just for the Vore would eventually lead me into joining the fandom. But why, oh why, did Vore turn me on in the first place? Well, it seems quite likely my autism is the main reason for this. For those of you that don't know what Vore is, let me explain. According to Wikipedia, quote, vorophilia, often shortened to Vore, is a paraphilia characterized by the erotic desire to be consumed by, or sometimes to personally consume, another person or creature, or an erotic attraction to the process of eating in general practice. Well, obviously I won't be turned on every time I eat my dinner unless I'm at Dragon's or whatever's dinner. And of course, only if I'm swallowed whole, because you know. Many Vore fans, like myself back in the day, do have these sexual fantasies of being swallowed whole by a dragon, or a T-Rex, or a hippo, or a whale, or whatever large or not so large animal, while others fantasize about actually being the animals and swallowing usually smaller creatures whole. But the question still looms. Why though? Well, according to the same Wikipedia article, quote, one case study analysis connected the fantasy with sexual masochism, or BDSM, apologies if I mispronounced that, and suggested that it could be motivated by a desire to merge with a powerful other or permanently escape loneliness. One common trait of ASD is social isolation due to a lack of social skills and social awkwardness, leading to very high social anxiety. And it's up for debate whether or not it should actually be classified as social anxiety, but that's beside the point. This, along with a tendency with many of us with high-functioning autism to fantasize quite often it being sexual fantasy, makes it evident that an unconscious desire to escape isolation whilst also ridding of that social anxiety caused by this paraphilia to spring up. So basically, the inside of a giant dragon's stomach is both the vorophile's best friend and sexual partner. Because either, like in my case, we're too socially inept to find a real best friend or sexual partner, or that desire simply outdoes the desire to be with that real best friend or sexual partner. Welcome back to those of you that skipped that section. To keep it relatively clean, my autism out of nowhere decided to be attached to Vore fantasy after seeing a Vore scene on YouTube or something because, once again, quote from Wikipedia, quote, it could be motivated by a desire to merge with a powerful other or permanently escape loneliness, to counter the social ineptitude, awkwardness, and isolation of us high-functioning autistics. Now that's my story. What about everyone else? What about those dumb know-nothing hashtag Team Pause people? Just kidding, I love you all. Much of it may still have to do with fantasy. It may be sexual fantasy for reasons I won't discuss due to this being the safe for work portion of the video, but you should get it by now if you didn't skip over the not safe for work portion. but also the fantasy of being an animal, or in our case, an animal-human hybrid, and being a fun-loving, cute, cuddly fox or wolf or husky or kitty, yay cats for life. However, there's more to it than just fantasy. Several times the fandom has been cited as the only way some people have been able to make friends, more times than not because they are able to express themselves and be themselves in a way that they were too anxious or socially awkward to before. Some will buy a fursuit to fulfill this, while others are able to do just fine without one. At Anthrocon 2013, a group of surveyors surveyed 820 attendees aged 18 and over on psychological conditions, whilst the results indicated that the percentage of furries with the other conditions in the survey were either lower or nearly equal to the percentage of the general population. The percentage of furries with ASD, mostly Asperger's in this case, based on the survey, was right around 4%, more than twice the percentage of the general population. Now, I personally have talked to many furries online around my age, and a surprising number have told me that they also have Asperger's. The teenage and early adult years are a time where many are still trying to find themselves, and many of us Aspies strive to do this more than anyone else. The furry fandom is able to retain many of us because it's a great place to reach out to, as there are so many supportive people here that are willing to help out with any problems people might have, and with their lives in general. Us Aspies also suffer from depression, myself included, a good deal more than those without the condition, or neurotypicals, as they're often dubbed. Whether it be over isolation, oversensitivity, or whatever, while it is true that some aspects of the fandom may be a source of some of this depression, there are still many great people here to help us get through our tough times. Although I suffer from depression myself, I'm always open to try to help people out with theirs, although my level of success with such varies. So in conclusion, this fandom easily attracts just about any Aspie that isn't already anti-furry or just against or uninterested in some of what it has to offer. It satisfies sexual, social, and psychological interest in a way it never would otherwise be satisfied. Overall, it just seems like the perfect fit for someone like me for the reasons discussed in this video. If you'd like to get to know more about Asperger's syndrome, I highly recommend two YouTubers to watch. Max Sterrett has a series of videos titled The Truth About Asperger's Syndrome, which goes into high but very understandable detail of the struggles those of us with the syndrome face. I found it awesome while watching this series, not only being able to relate to so much of what he talked about, but also how much I was able to learn about myself and the syndrome. Max also co-hosts a podcast every Wednesday evening called The Differently Wired Show, where he and his co-host discuss these same sorts of issues, answer questions viewers have for them, and even chat with some viewers live. The other YouTuber I recommend watching is the Aspie World. Dan from this channel makes fairly similar videos addressing the struggles of Asperger's syndrome, as well as ways to cope with these struggles. I had more or less the same reaction to his videos. Thanks for watching my very first video on this channel. If any of you noticed any inaccurate or incomplete information, please let me know, and I may be able to edit in corrections, or maybe even re-upload the video entirely. I have a gaming channel, a Twitter, a Discord server, and a Telegram chat, all of which are in the description. Have a wonderful day, everyone.